Already in flight. You have 15 minutes. That's how long an intercontinental ballistic missile takes to cross from one continent to another. 15 minutes from launch to impact. From normal life to the end of everything you know. Right now, there are 12,705 nuclear warheads on Earth. Russia holds roughly 5,580. The United States has 5,044. China is rapidly expanding toward 1,000. France, the UK, India, Pakistan, Israel, and North Korea hold the rest. Modern warheads range from 100 to 800 kilotons. A single weapon today can be 50 times more powerful than what destroyed Hiroshima. ICBMs travel at 24,000 kilometers per hour. Submarine-launched missiles arrive in 10 minutes. Hypersonic glide vehicles reduce warning time even further. The terrifying part? We've almost launched them by accident. In 1983, Soviet satellites detected 5 American ICBMs incoming. Officer Stanislav Petrov had minutes to decide whether to report it. He didn't. It was sunlight reflecting off clouds. In 1995, Russia detected what appeared to be a submarine-launched missile. It was a Norwegian research rocket. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, a Soviet submarine lost contact with Moscow and prepared to launch a nuclear torpedo. 3 officers had to authorize it. One man, Vasily Arkhipov, refused. In 1979, U.S. computers reported a full-scale Soviet attack. It was a training simulation accidentally loaded as real data. We've come within minutes of nuclear war. Multiple times. By accident. If a launch happens, you won't hear sirens. By the time you check your phone, the missiles are already in the air. The first hour. If you're near the target, distance is everything. A 500 kiloton warhead detonates with a fireball hotter than the surface of the sun. Within the first kilometer, everything is vaporized. Steel, concrete, human bodies, converted to plasma instantly. At 2 to 3 kilometers, the blast wave collapses reinforced buildings. But you don't die from the shock wave. You die from what comes before it. The thermal flash. Thermal radiation travels at the speed of light. At 10 kilometers from a 500 kiloton detonation, exposed skin receives third-degree burns instantly. Clothing ignites. Retinas are seared. Then the shock wave arrives. Glass becomes airborne blades. Cars flip. Buildings collapse. Here's the paradox. You're safer at ground zero than 50 miles downwind. At ground zero, death is instant. 50 miles downwind, you survive the blast. But that's where fallout kills you slowly. A nuclear detonation also generates an electromagnetic pulse. EMP disables power grids, vehicles, and communications across hundreds of kilometers. Hospitals lose power, water treatment stops. In the first hour, tens of millions die from blast and burns. But that's not the main threat. Invisible poison. The mushroom cloud rises 15 to 20 kilometers into the sky, carrying vaporized debris now radioactive. Within hours, winds spread that material downwind. If you're 30 kilometers away but directly downwind, radiation exposure can be worse than someone 10 kilometers away upwind. Radiation sickness begins with nausea within hours. Within days, bone marrow stops producing blood cells. High doses cause organ failure within 2 weeks. After Fukushima, radioactive isotopes traveled 5,000 miles across the Pacific. A nuclear detonation produces material thousands of times more concentrated. In a full-scale exchange, overlapping fallout zones cover entire continents. Cesium-137 and strontium-90 contaminate soil and water for decades. These isotopes bioaccumulate in food chains. You won't see radiation, you won't smell it. Distance doesn't mean safety. It just means your death arrives more slowly. Nuclear winter. The explosions aren't what changed the climate. The fires are. When a nuclear weapon detonates over a city, thousands of smaller fires ignite simultaneously. If enough merge, they create a firestorm, winds exceeding 100 kilometers per hour, feeding flames hot enough to melt steel. These fires generate pyrocumulonimbus clouds, towering columns of superheated smoke that punch into the stratosphere, 15 to 50 kilometers above Earth. At that altitude, there's no rain to wash the smoke out. It lingers for years. Scientists estimate that 100 nuclear detonations would inject 5 to 15 million tons of black carbon into the stratosphere. That soot blocks sunlight from reaching the surface. A large-scale nuclear exchange would drop global temperatures by 8 to 15 degrees Celsius within months. The last ice age was only 5 degrees colder than today. Here's what most people don't understand. The fires kill more people than the bombs. The smoke kills more than the fires. Nuclear winter doesn't begin at the blast site. It begins miles above you when the sky itself starts blocking the sun. Global starvation. Growing seasons collapse within weeks. Without sufficient sunlight, crops fail. Summers disappear. Winters extend for years. The mid-latitudes where most food is grown would experience below-freezing temperatures year-round. Nothing grows under those conditions. Humanity has about 60 to 90 days of food reserves globally. Modern agriculture depends on constant production, fuel, and fertilizer. After a nuclear war, oil refineries are destroyed. Ports are gone. Production stops. The math is simple. Take all the calories humanity can produce. Divide by what the average person needs. If you have more people than calories, within weeks you don't anymore. A regional nuclear war between India and Pakistan, using 100 weapons, would reduce global food production by 10 to 20%. An estimated 250 million people would starve within 2 years. A full-scale exchange between major powers using 4,400 warheads would reduce global food production by 90%. Within 2 years, the death toll from starvation could reach 5 billion people. 5 billion. More than half of everyone alive today. Countries in the Northern Hemisphere would see only a few percent of their population survive. Some nations in the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, New Zealand, Argentina, might endure longer. Their nuclear winter would be milder, but food exports would stop immediately. You don't die from the blast, you don't die from radiation. You die because the sun stops feeding the crops. One decision away. Nuclear war hasn't happened yet, not because the weapons don't exist, but because individuals hesitated at critical moments. Stanislav Petrov in 1983, Vasily Arkhipov in 1962, analysts in 1979 and 1995 who double-checked their data. One person in one moment with incomplete information can prevent the end of civilization or cause it. Right now, there are more nuclear-armed states than ever before. Warning systems are faster. Decision windows are shorter. In 1986, there were over 70,000 nuclear warheads. Today, there are 12,705. The number has dropped by 82%. Progress happened because people recognized the threat. But 12,705 warheads is still 12,705 ways this scenario stops being hypothetical. If you found this scenario terrifying, like the video and subscribe for more. And share this one.